Hi, this is Ron Darling with SNY TV. You know me from covering the Mets, and I hope you get a chance to listen to Mets Musings with Gary Mack. I had a great time. I hope you do too.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the 69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
Mets Musings is an unofficial, independent podcast covering New York's National League Baseball team. It is not affiliated in any way with Major League Baseball or the New York Mets.
This is Len and Jeff from Baseball and Barbecue.
And the one place to go for New York Mets news,
Past week game reviews,
upcoming series previews,
interviews,
analysis,
opinion, and what's going down on the farm. It's Mets Musings with Gary Mack. So keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets.
Mets Musings with
Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
And hello and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings. Hope everybody had a great week out there, and congratulations to Pete Alonso on winning the 2019 National League Rookie of the Year award, very deservedly so. Great award and just a fantastic season, and he's a good kid. And I thought that this would be the perfect time to re-release my interview with then Peter Alonso. Yeah, he wanted to be called Pete now, but at one time he was Peter. So it's Peter Alonso, but it's the same guy. It's an interview I did with him in December of 2017 when he was still in the minor leagues. So sit back and enjoy my interview, this special encore edition of the Pete Alonso interview. I'm joined tonight by the Mets' second-round draft pick in the 2016 draft, Peter Alonso. And, Peter, welcome to Mets Musings.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you on. And, Peter, you had quite a whirlwind 2 years. You literally stepped off the campus of the University of Florida and right into professional baseball with the Brooklyn Cyclones, spent the time there, and had an interesting second season. Tell us a little about your experience so far.
Well, I mean, professional baseball is a dream job for me. It's something I've always wanted to do. Growing up as a kid, my mom, she's just, you can ask her, my first word was ball. It's the first word that came out of my mouth. I mean, it's like growing up as a kid, I didn't want to be a businessman. I didn't want to be a doctor. I just wanted to be a baseball player. So right now I'm living the dream right now. And I'm working hard every day to get another part, complete another part of my dream, which is to make it to the big leagues. Getting drafted and playing professional baseball is a huge part of the journey to that. So I'm not done, obviously, and I'm just gonna keep working and just be the best player I can possibly be in all aspects.
Now, you're a Florida kid, born and raised, and went to the University of Florida. And who did you root for as a kid?
As a kid, oh Jesus, I rooted for. Both my parents are from Lancaster, Ohio. So, I mean, I rooted for the Buckeyes growing up as a kid. And, I mean, I was kind of brainwashed because I have, all my both my grandparents are from Lancaster. My parents are high school sweethearts, and that's scarlet and gray up there.
And what was your favorite baseball team as a kid?
I mean, growing up as a Tampa kid, I always went to the Rays games. I didn't have a favorite team, but I went to a lot of Yankee spring training games because it's conveniently 15 minutes away from my house, and then the Trop is 30 minutes away. So I got to see some great baseball growing up. I remember like watching the '08 World Series one from the Rays. Like that was great baseball, and then obviously seeing the great players such as the Yankee, like back when the Yankees had all the dudes like Bernie Williams, like Andy Pettitte, Derek Jeter, A-Rod, Mo, like just it was just Tampa's just such a great baseball town where there's like a lot of like very high quality players and like just in the area where you can go see a big league game. So I just wanted to immerse myself in the game because I just loved it.
So you played in high school, you go to college, you get drafted, you go to Brooklyn. Take us a little bit about that draft pick that night. How was it? Were you on the edge of your seat when waiting for your name to be called? All your buddies kidding you? How did that work out?
Well, there was a draft party going on in Gainesville. Like, cause we had a couple guys, that were supposed to get drafted on the first day, like AJ Puck, Buddy Reed, Logan Shore, like just high quality guys, high quality athletes. And then for me, I didn't know if I was going to go on the first day or not. It was just kind of like up in the air. And then so I decided to go home and there was a really good chance, with the Mets being on the scout, John Updike, excuse me. John Updike, he told me in his meeting, he's just like, you know what, Pete, like, we're going to try and keep you in the orange and blue, in my scout meeting, later on in May. And I'm really happy because I'm just like, this is like, the Mets are just, and it's a fantastic organization. Like it's me, like, and I mean, they have great staff, like, great front office, and they've treated me very well, and they're extremely professional. So I can't, like, they've treated me amazing. So I think it's the best possible fit for me. And I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but back to the draft thing. So it was just me, my brother, my mom, my dad, and my girlfriend. And we were watching it, and as the first round ended and it went into the supplemental round, my agent, he's just like, all right, well, the Mets want you, but there's only one other position player on the board, and that's Chris Oakey, the catcher from Clemson. Mm-hmm. And he was their second round pick. And he's just like, all right, Chris Oakey needs to go off the board. And then the Mets will take you if Oakey's gone. And then a couple minutes later, or like legit 2 seconds later, the second pick of the second round came up, and it was the Cincinnati Reds. They picked Christopher Oakey out of Clemson University. I went nuts. I went absolutely berserk. And then my agent, he's just like, all right, he's like, all right, you saw that Oakey was taken. Like, we're gonna like the Mets you're locked in. And then I don't know how many picks were after that, but it was, I mean, they were kind of down there, so I was kind of like freaking out, like, just like, is it going to happen? Like, just like the anticipation was getting extremely antsy. And I mean, it was a surreal moment that I got to share with my family. And it was an extremely memorable and fantastic day. I mean, that's definitely one of the greater baseball moments I've had, even though it hasn't been playing. But I mean, you need that draft day, or you need to get drafted in order to pursue like your dream of playing professional baseball. And that's a huge part about getting started. And it was a very, very memorable day. And I'm really happy. It was amazing.
And as you say, that's your foot in the door. That's your first step on this journey to make it to the major leagues, and it's got to begin somewhere, and that's where it started.
Yes. And
so the Mets assigned you to Brooklyn. You came to the Cyclones. Now you had the oddity, if you will, of playing with a lot of collegiate guys on the Cyclones last year. The Mets went heavily drafted collegiate guys. So Was there any guys you were familiar with, or you've played against and you knew briefly, and did that make the transition better?
Yeah, I played. I mean, being in the college game, like you playing college baseball, like you watch a lot of guys play on TV, and also like in the summer, you play a lot against a lot of different people in the summer leagues. Like I played against Justin Dunn in the Cape Cod League, Gene Cohn, Blake Taberry. I was familiar with. Let me think. Jay Jabs, another guy I played against in the Cape. Tom Stapucki, who was a Florida commit. Like he was around for a couple visits. So me and him were familiar because he was in Brooklyn last year. Des Lindsay, another Florida guy. He's right down the road, like 60 minutes away in Sarasota. And Brandon Brozier, Spring Hill, but I mean, that's kind of like a part of the greater Tampa area. So there's a lot of people that I was familiar with, and because like it was like a college heavy draft, a lot of us were on the same page on the field, and we had good chemistry because there's a lot of kids that come from college, like they have they got some good baseball smarts, and they know the game well, and you can be on the same page as everybody, which is nice.
And I would imagine the culture shock of going into professional ball, having guys around you your same age, and you know, basically that you knew some of them and everything like that. It must have made the transition easier.
Yeah, Brooklyn. It was I had a lot of really good teammates. Like we were like I appreciated everyone just like on that team. It was a great group of guys, and like I thought like it really stunk because like at the end of in August, like when I broke my pinky, it stunk because I wanted to be there with them. Like, I mean, there's definitely like a good team mentality, and I mean, I got nothing but good things to say. I mean, for the most part, this is just my opinion, but I thought that we were regarding chemistry wise, I thought we were pretty good.
And you come into this year, and oddly enough, you broke the same. Was it the same pinky again, or?
No, it was my fourth metacarpal, so it was in my hand, not one of my fingers.
Okay.
But it was frustrating. Like I think it was like the fifth or sixth game. It was extremely frustrating. Like it was freak thing, but it's nothing. I mean, I'm still a little angry about it. I mean, it's inconvenient, and I don't like getting hurt. I mean, no one likes getting hurt,
right.
Like because it's just like time taken away that you wish you could be playing.
So you got off. You had this injury to start the season. You got off to a really slow start, and then you picked it up. And really, in July, you were the Florida State Player of the Month, and really ended up in Binghamton with the Double-A team, and had put up some good numbers again this season with the combined teams. What did you do anything special when you came up? Because you were struggling when you came back from the injury, and did you work on anything special to get your stroke back?
Yeah, everything. I just needed to simplify everything. The biggest part for me was trying to do too much coming back because I missed too much time, putting pressure on myself. Like, all right, I gotta catch up with everybody else because they're like in all the like hits, RBIs, home runs, like people were ahead of me, and I wanted to do well. And I mean, anyone coming back from an injury wants to hit the ground running, but I had very unrealistic expectations of myself, and I pressed too hard. I was pressing, and it was it was a bad start. I think it was like I was at 150 at some point, but I mean, like it was kind of like people were giving me like weird looks, and it's like, oh shit, like not again. Excuse my language. But I mean, it was really tough because I felt uncomfortable, and it's just like this, just like pressure that I kept putting on myself. It was just like I was my worst enemy, and just snapping out of it. I think after the All-Star break, it was just like fresh mind, and one of the biggest parts about like, all right, fresh mind, you got a new season right now. Like first half, just punt it, like just let it go. And then after that 3-day All-Star break, then came back, and like I cleared my head, like I had clear headspace, and I was thinking properly. And I feel like that, like this season, learning how to deal with like that sort of adversity, just doing so bad, and then coming back and making something like great, because I'm not trying to like sound arrogant or anything, but I'm super proud of myself, because like I don't think anyone has started at 150 over with 100 plus at bats. Like usually they end up with a bad season, and like it was a tough hole to climb out of. And like I mean, I'm not saying that it was all me, but I had some great instruction from my hitting coach, Louis Natera, and my manager, Chad Kruder. Like they worked with me like constantly, and like I got to tip my hat off to them, because they were always there to help. Their doors were open, and like it was a great experience working with them, because they gave me like helped me stay in the environment to succeed, instead of like just say like, oh, like kid's a lost cause, like go get them next year. Right. It's like, no, like you gotta build, like just get one at a time. And then one thing that one of my teammates said to me when I was struggling was Johnny Magliozzi actually said this. He's like, hey, Pete, you can't hit 300 overnight. And that's so true, because it's a long season, and you just have to stick with it. Like you have to continue and persevere through it. And like what he said was right. And I mean, that's still, and that advice has stuck with me.
Now, this year as well, before you got to that point, you did get an invite to the spring training, to the Mets spring training camp. And
yes.
Tell us a little bit about how that was. What it was like being in the locker room with the major league guys, and did you pick anybody's brains to get some good information?
Yeah, I talked to anyone I could. I talked to. I mean, as soon as I got up there, like I was very overwhelmed, like, cause you see all these guys that like guys like Cespedes, Granderson, like Bruce, David Wright, that you just watch on TV, that you hear about constantly. And what I learned is that every single one of these guys is a real person, because what some people don't realize is that, like, oh, like they're a professional baseball player. Like some people only like see them as like athletes, or they see what they do on the field. And it was kind of like an eye opener to me, because like they're just normal human beings. Like they're actual people with a personality and like in feelings. And it was great to like talk about. It was mostly about like handling failure. Like Duda was fantastic when he was rehabbing. Like me and him talked for probably about 15 minutes, just about just grinding it out, and just making the best out of any sort of situation. I talked to Duda, like Conforto was good. Brandon Nimmo, he was an awesome guy. Cabrera, he's a fantastic guy. There's so many, and also there's so many guys that came back through. Like it's unfortunate that they were hurt and on rehab assignment, but it's like you got to have one-on-one time and like ask questions, and like they're there and they're willing to help you because they were there at some point in their career and they understand like that they're trying to get that, like they were just like me at one point, like
right.
just a kid, like just trying to make it. And like it's very much appreciated that they're willing to share like information or tips or anything. Just, I mean, anything it's possible. Like it's much appreciated from me. And like I mean, Curtis Granderson, he's a fantastic guy. I've texted him every now and then and he responds. Like he's not like big league or anything. Like he's just a great guy. And it's just awesome to see.
Well, that's great to hear, and as you say, they were there when at one point in their life as well, and now they're passing on that information to you. And talking about guys you played with, you got to play with Tim Tebow this season at Port St. Lucie. Everybody says it was a little bit of a circus and whatnot. What was it like playing bigger crowds and just the whole thing with the whole Tebow mania going on? What was that like?
Well, the Florida State League doesn't really draw that well. But as soon as Tim came, like it was like sellouts all over the place. It was fun. Like he's a good guy, good teammate. And like it was fun. Like I know like all like football aside, like it's kind of the same thing I was talking about. Like he's a guy. Like he's a normal like human being. He's a person, and like he's like great guy, great teammate, like super genuine, and like I got no problems with the guy. Like it was great like being teammates with him, and I mean I wish him the best. Like he's done a really good job because I played with him last Instructs, and from then to now, like he's gotten better. I got to tip my cap to him. Like he's gotten better from from day one to now after his first full season. He's improved, and you got like when there's improvement, you got to tip your cap.
Well, he traditionally is known as a hard worker, and he said he was going to put the work in for this, and apparently he has.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I mean, I'm happy that he's chasing a dream. Like he's just like the rest of us, like going after something that he wants to do. And like that's again, like I can't speak out against that. I mean, you can't really speak. I mean, yeah, he's had critics and stuff like that, but I do respect him, like having the courage to go do it, just to put himself out there. And I mean, a lot of people, I can say like, oh, like he loved football first, or oh, like he's like it's like for money, like because people do, but like he's putting himself out there, and like a lot of people are afraid to do that. And like, I mean, he's like in that aspect for chasing for what you want, or like pursuing a dream. Like I think that's like a perfect like analogy, or perfect like situation for someone to like look at and just say, wow, like this should speak to me. And like hopefully like if there's something that you want to do, then go do it. Like you should, if you're passionate enough about it, you go on, Yeah,
without a doubt. And, he's got a lot to lose, too. He's got a lot of, though criticism never seems to bother him. He seems to be well-rounded and level-headed enough that, because he gets attacked sometimes for the most stupidest things. And I guess it's just the society that we have right now. And, but I know he does a lot of good, off the field as well as on the field. And, wish him all the luck in the world. He's doing it. He's not taking a shortcut, and he's working hard at it.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, and
go ahead.
Oh no, I apologize.
No.
All right. Well, one thing I was going to say, like one thing that in addition to the off-field stuff, like when we were in Kissimmee, playing the Fire Frogs, like we went, like not like Tim kind of organized this one little like special day before he went to the field. It was like a community service thing. It was like the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we got to see some kids with special needs, and it was super rewarding, like being able to see those kids and make their day a little bit better. So that was one thing, like, just want to add in, because like that is one thing that, I mean, it's not about like, yeah, at the end, like, people do certain things like to better themselves, but it's about how you impact other people. So, I mean, so that was really cool.
And that's great. You know, I know in the minors they do a lot of that. You do a lot of that, and that's really a great thing for the communities to have the players that are there, you know, care that much to help out. Now, so you went to Binghamton, played some AA ball, and you were in a pennant race there, so to speak, a playoff race. What was that like, being in a playoff race for the first time?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was a blast. Like, that was like, again, like that team was probably one of the best teams I've played with regarding chemistry, being on the same page, and just caring and wanting to win. Like, everyone was hungry, and it was fun. It was a blast. And I mean, I was just happy to be a part of it. Like, I got called up, and then my first couple games were in Portland, and we were supposed to clinch. If we won a game, and then like we would clinch. And well, we didn't win, but the other team lost. Someone else lost. I think Reading lost. So we clinched, and like having like the second or third day up there, like champagne shower to go to the playoffs. Like, that's like the best timing in the world. Like, that was super fun. Like, just being able to do that and enjoy that with everybody. I know, and everyone welcomed me too, which was fantastic. Like, they welcomed me, accepted me, like, 'cause I mean, just like, oh, who's this guy, like, coming in like last 3 weeks of the season. Like, so I was really happy that everyone was really cool and welcoming, and I mean, it was a fun time. Like, I love playing up there. Like, so next year, if I'm there, it should be fun.
And any idea what the plan for next year will be for you?
Maybe, probably. I can't say for sure, because only the Mets know. But if I had to take a gander at it, I would probably be in Binghamton next year.
Okay, and probably if you do it well, it'd move you to Vegas from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, who knows? Like, if I tear it up, then who knows where I'll be.
That's right. You could be in Queens.
Yes. Hopefully. That's the ultimate goal. And next year is going to be a really huge year for me. Just like proving the people that believe in me right, and proving the people that, like, I guess, doubt me, like, wrong. So proving the people that believe right and the doubters wrong.
That's right.
That's all I want to do.
And how did you find the transition from the Florida State League to AA ball? What did you notice a big difference at all?
Yeah, all the pitchers for the most part are around the plate. All the pitchers, like, the command is plus pretty much around the board, and the pitchers can manipulate the ball a little bit, like more right on right change-ups and cutters, and then being able to command the slider or curveball, and then being able to sink. I mean, a lot of the pitchers, they're very, very polished, and they can manipulate the ball and sink it, slide it, change it up, like whatever, which is fine. Like, and but that, I guess I'm not, I guess, fearing for my life like I was in the Florida State League sometimes, because I mean, that league is a fireball league. like there's like the Detroit Tigers, like there's just like everyone on that team throws 97 plus. It is unbelievable. And I don't know, it's just sometimes like that's kind of where like high A, like in the Florida State League, that's kind of where the beat people with fastball. Like they're more like there's a lot of talented players in the Florida State League. Like I'm not knocking them. It's just that in order to make it to Double A, like I guess you need to be a little bit more polished and have know-how on how to pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like the huge difference for me.
And now there are reports in New York that the Mets are working with you, and they want you to go. You're in Florida, and they wanted you to work on your defense at first base. Is that what you're doing right now, and how's that going along?
Well, instructional league is over. It ended last Friday, and I was there for 3 or 4 weeks, and I thought it was extremely, extremely productive. All the staff, Tim Telfel, the infield coordinator, he helped me out tremendously, and what he basically did was just kind of just clean everything and just help me be more polished. And I'm looking forward to coming to spring training and showing that off, because like right now, like I'm just trying to chisel up and get in the best shape of my life going into next spring. Like that's the goal, and take as much ground balls as I can before camp, and just ready to go. So, I mean, I just want to prepare myself, prepare my body, and be in the best possible shape to have the best year I can next year, best year of my life, hopefully.
And we hope that you have the best year of your life, and hopefully you'll get to Queens real soon, and we'll get to see you there. I want to thank you for coming on, Peter, and good luck in 2018.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you again for having me on, and I hope the listeners enjoyed it, and I can't thank you enough. Go Mets.
Let's go anytime. And I'll be back right after this.
Looking for great Cardinals talk? Then check out Conversations with C70. My name's Daniel Shofdahl, and I talk with some of the great bloggers on the internet today about their teams. It always comes back to the Cardinals. Find the latest episode on my website, www.cardinal70.com, or at baseballpodcast.net.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com, along with Mets Musings and other great baseball podcasts.
With all the Mets news, it is the news from around the world and around the corner. Here's Gary Mack.
And I'm back, and I hope you enjoyed that interview with Peter Alonso, now Pete. It was a big thrill to get him at that time, and he really wasn't on too much radar. He was just starting to come into his own in the minors and starting to get some publicity. We were fortunate enough to make contact with him and get him on the show. Going to try to get him on again, but it's tough now. Now that he's a big name, it's not so easy. But I hope you enjoyed it. And I want to thank you for listening to this special encore edition of Mets Musings. And remember to subscribe wherever you listen to the podcast, whether it be iTunes, Google Play, wherever you may listen to it. Hit the subscribe button. It helps me grow the show and reach new listeners. And until next time, remember, keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets.